All right, let's see if we are up and running. Checking my channel. Checking my channel for my live feed. Looking for that feed. There it is, and that means I should be live. I sure am. Feed. There it is, and that means I should be live. I sure am. Yeah, okay. So that sounds good. I'm gonna drop that volume down out. So I'm gonna grab my link here real quick. And we're going to do some artwork this morning. So give me a hot second here for me to get my social media set up, and then we'll get to work. So here's my origin story to distract you while I do my uploading. My name is Phil Kearney. Hey, I create role-playing games. I illustrate them. I publish them online. And I have been running games since 1987. I've been running Eberron specifically since 2006. And I've been creating content on DMsGuild since 2017. So I finished my stuff there. You can like, subscribe. You can follow me here on the Twitter platform. I am here on YouTube 10 times per week. Thanks, new subscribers. Like, bell icon, notifications. Here's the full playlist of all 278 episodes we've accumulated so far. Where'd it go? This book cover we created was back on episode 40. This is Crystals of Mabar. It's the first adventure that I'm self-publishing. It's for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons in the Eberron campaign setting for characters level 4 to 5. 4 to 5 characters level 7 to 8. You're fighting undead and necromancers in the Carnwood of Karnath on the continent of Corvair. Go back to episode 40. You can see me building this cover. We are currently making an optional encounter map, which is a gazebo, a dilapidated gazebo in a necrotic. The necrotic energy of the plane of Mabar is terraforming the forest, so it's destroying all the trees, depleting the soil of life, causing all of the soil to turn into like this coffee-like grit that weird alien plants can grow out of. So right now we're completing the depiction of the environments and stuff. There's my pen. There we go. All right, so we've got all our components in place. We're looking at our base here. We've got the walls built as such. I want to add some coffee grit to the top of these structures. So give me a second here. Apparently my stuff's all fouled up. There, and we're gonna go to the grit. It's pillar grit, and it's ground grit. We're gonna go to, next up is wall grit. Down here, like that. Just dropping in some grit here. This fractal brush that we created fits everything together very nicely. Square that edge off. Pick that up as our eraser. So I'll go like this, this. I can afford to be a little bit larger there. And then here, we're just dusting this top with some stippled grit, and then we erase most of it. To leave this soiled look. And once we complete our circuit around the perimeter, we will drop in the water hazards as well as the floral hazards, and we'll move on to the next piece. So we shan't spend too much time here today. We got about an hour and a half of production time this morning, and Boop. There. Let's see. Feels like we're outside the lines. Let's get down here. Keep those lines clean. Wall grit. There we go. It's the inconsistency of the patterning that sells it as a good texture effect. I don't even bother with making sure the whole wall is covered. I'm just making some gritty stuff, erasing and moving on. Nice and chaotic. But thanks a lot to all the new supporters that are jumping onto the stream and checking out the content that we're creating here. I am here about 10 times per week. So, hey, Rel, it's good to see you. We do this Eberron Cartography for this adventure Monday through Friday in the morning. It is my primary project. On Monday and Thursday nights, including tonight, we work on Eberron adventure and ship cartography. So we're currently making a fleet challenge using the Spelljammer mechanics that I created that have been published on DMsGuild. On Tuesdays and Fridays, including tomorrow, we developed the Martial Powers Project, which is an alternate spellcasting or an alternate magic system for martial characters that can use spell points or mana to create different like maneuvers, tactics, exploits, and stuff like that without having to be spellcasters. And we're currently resolving the new 2024 Monk into the power system, which is going phenomenally well. Yeah, it's starting to look really, really good. Thank you. Yeah, I'm pleased with this process. The language that we use and the texturing is consistent. Oops, made that disappear. Boop, there you go. So the consistent is the language is consistent, which allows the look. It's pretty easy to have confidence in the look of it because this is like the 7th map that I've made that's using this language. So, so yeah, I like how this is coming along. I'm gonna thin up that grit just a bit. Add in some more. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, Tuesday, Friday, lunchtime, Martial Powers development. Every other week on Thursday, which includes today at 8 p.m. Eastern Time or 5 p.m. in Seattle. I'll be joining Fred Wheeler, Wally DM, and a slew of Deconis and a slew of other people to play some old school original box set D&D. I think we're 2nd level right now. Running around an old 1980s style dungeon using the 1st edition of Dungeons and Dragons, which is a hell of a lot of fun. It's super gonzo, and it's all interaction based. No, very little die rolls in the original D&D, like we were talking about earlier. Past couple episodes, actually, we were talking about the evolution of the game and how like dice mechanic resolution systems have developed over that time. This is you guys are welcome. I'll have a post on my Discord that I'm live, and maybe I'll have a notification that it's Fred that's hosting the Zoom stream. I don't think I'm going to be live streaming directly from my own computer. There, that feels good. But I will provide a link on my Discord that I'm live. Hey, so I just met a friend who came to visit here. Hey, cool. Right on, man. Cheers. Looks like the little vacation you're taking is already paying off, right? Ooh, shit. That is a bit of grit that I should be filling in the proper color. that. There we go. And then back to the wall grit. Nice. You bet, man. Yeah, the world is becoming more and more cold and distant. It's being able to form relationships and friends. It's something we have to actively attempt to do. We have to outreach and make it an effort to connect. It's so easy to isolate and get inside a little bubble. As a streaming artist, I know that in particular is most of the time, most time in art is spent alone. There's a few reasons why I started to stream. One is because my projects are so massive in scope and production time that it's easy for me to get intimidated and procrastinate. So if I stream the projects that I'm working on, I'm guaranteed to be able to move forward and have progress every day to be able to report on and actually, perform every day here. Secondarily, art is very lonely. So me jumping on stream and kicking out artwork is a parasocial activity where we get to at least yammer at each other and share ideas about stuff, and that helps reduce the crippling isolation that artwork tends to impose on its craftsmen. And then the other self-serving interest in doing so is I get to talk about the stuff that I'm building. You guys get to see me make it, and then when it's published, you can see the final product. So that's makes me proud when I produce something and people tell me that they think it's cool. Base. Okay, I'm just gonna merge these down because it's a hassle. There and there. Get rid of that exterior slop. Now back to the grid. Yeah, building out the monkey yesterday was awesome. I was able to simplify the mechanics that we were using, and the new stuff that Wizards was introducing on mana management was fantastic. It was exactly the kind of stuff that I wanted to see, and I'm excited to see it. I like where it's going. Everything that we're doing is better as a result of what Wizards is presenting in 2024. So it's a really solid supplement. I'm really, more than anything, I'm looking forward to getting done with the playtesting phase and actually building the book, like constructing it, like we're doing here, like with these assets, like filling the pages with martial power art and building out the charts and the format. I'm thinking I want to maybe approach the list of powers like maybe like 4th edition created formatted its powers instead of being like a spell, make it more like 4th edition powers, so that there's a clear delineation in how it do. I'm having a brain melt here real quick. This line is way too thick. There we go. Good. Good. Let's clean that up. And then clean that up. There we go. sloppy. Keep that clean. Good? Not quite. Look at all this mess. Cleanup duty forever. There we go. Hey, that's my 20-minute timer to make sure I don't get trapped up in anything silly. So far, doing pretty good today. The silliness is all intentional. That should be like this. Hey, Tex, what's up? Parasocial, it's like when you, it's a pseudo relationship where you're not really friends, but you have a lot of points of contact and mutual interests, so that you can talk about stuff without really being able to deepen the relationship to a level of trust and meaningfulness. So it's like surface. It's like cocktail party depth, you know. Like the likelihood of, like, I don't even know where in the country you're at. The likelihood of you swinging by and having a beer with me sometimes is like almost none. So our ability to have a social relationship is capped by the distance that's basically between through the screen. There, that feels really good now. Tap, 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 taparoo. Why did you stop tappering? I have to. Yes, save those changes. It closes. We should be able to reopen it. It locked up. So let's see if it's done being locked up. Good. Uh-oh. Doi. Fuck that up. Let's fix it. I put grit on my line art. It is sloppy and stupid, Kearney. I need 100% pull so I can 100% drag. There we go. Thin that down a touch. Nope. It's going to be like that. Pull this. There we go. There. Okay, cool. Now it's fixed. Ugh. Pain. We're back into it. What? Wait, hold up. Hold up. Wait. There. Good? Good. Hey, okay, so what do you plan to do after martial powers? I see I have two of those, but I hope to... Right on. After martial powers, we're going to rebuild the... while we're working on martial powers, we're going to be rebuilding the Color Mana series of books I have on DMsGuild, so it complies with all the new spellcasting mechanics for 2024. So once we get this adventure done, and then martial powers done, and then rebuilding all of the color mana system, martial powers goes with the color mana system, but also exists independently of it, because you don't. Again, the color mana system is a way of um, devoting the points of mana in your pool to specific types of magic. Like, erase that real quick. Like in the case of color magic, like if you want to throw a fireball, which is a red spell, you spend a point of red mana, and then you have 4 other colors that you could put in your pool. So like if I have 8 mana, I could put 5 points into red, 3 points into blue, and 2 points into green, and I wouldn't be able to cast any white or black spells at all because I don't have any points devoted currently to white or black. So I either have to diversify my mana pool, or I have to research and learn black and white spells to be either green, red, or blue. So there's a weird there's a neat little interaction that happens there. Like if it's an elemental system, these are called aspects of magic. In core D&D, there's 8 schools of magic, and those 8 schools are the different 8 aspects of the generic magic system that Wizards of the Coast and D&D traditionally uses, like conjuration, abjuration, necromancy, blah. It doesn't have to be 8 schools. It can be 5 colors, or 4 elements, or 3 bodies, or whatever. It could be hammer, rock, scissors. It could be light force and dark side. It could be any dichotomy or variety of magic. If you get above 5 aspects, it's generally better just to go with universal points and make it flavor. Like in Dungeons and Dragons vanilla D&D, you have the 8 schools, but you can use universal spell points or spell slots to cast any of them. There's no real mechanical difference between casting a necromancy spell or casting a conjuration spell. You're just casting a spell, and it's in those different aspects, which is just a narrative element with very little impact. If you create a magic paradigm that you actually devote your mana to the different aspects of magic in the 5 colors, or the 4 elements, or the 3 bodies, or whatever, hammer, rock, and scissors, whatever magic system that you want, you have to devote resources into each aspect so you can cast spells that are devoted to that aspect. Cold spells, for instance, are like white and blue, or air and water. So if I want to cast a cold spell in the elemental system, I need either air or water magic for me to be able to power that coldness damage, right? So it's that's the paradigm. Right now, back into the gazebo here, I need to blip blop fix the gazebo line art because there's way too many square. So I need to get rid of these square edges. And then I'm going to go down into the base. There. This shouldn't take more than a few moments. And once we get done with this, we're going to start adding water hazards and hazard tokens. Hazard tokens, both flora and water. Maybe that's a better way of saying that. Probably not. Dump that in like that. Round off these edges, trim that down a touch. That looks pretty good. I'll break that down a little bit. And break this down a bit. after the color mana system is rebuilt, we have the Spelljammer stuff that we've been doing. There's Warforged and Machines, which is the AI-driven character options, like artificial characters, like Warforged and autonomes piloting or becoming, like replacing their normal 5-foot body frame to a Titan of anywhere from 10 to 500 feet in size. And then there's the Mega Kaiju book that the Titans complement. If your characters are in 200-foot body frames, they should be fighting 200 to 1,000-foot monsters. So the Mega Crack, the Star Kraken Mega Kaiju book, that video that I posted for Kraken Week 2 weeks back, that walked through the core basics of building a Mega Kaiju and having an attack in Spelljammer. So Spelljammer, Titan, and the Mecha book, the Kaiju book. We're working on Vocast's Crab, which is a fleet adventure. I want to make an Elven Monarch 500-foot ship. I want to make a Skrull Greenskin Army Ogre Mammoth ship. I want to make a 500-foot Illithid Dreadnought, the Neogi Mind Spider, also a 500-foot ship. So that's 7 things that I want to do. And then on top of that, we are building we're playtesting the role-playing game, that the ability check game system that I've been playtesting at my home table. I want to take that out to a Kickstarter project eventually. And then there's also the Guilds and Kingdoms system, the resource management system for Dominion play. That takes us to 9. And then there's the mass combat system for 5e or D20 games in general, called Squads and Armies. So in command of Squads and Armies. And then there's the in command of Guilds and Kingdoms. So that's 10 books that I want to build out between now and 2027, maybe 2028. We'll see. I mean, to be fair, like the Armada, like the Elven Monarch and the Neogi Mind Spider and stuff like that, those are just ship maps. So that's like a thing that I do like on Mondays and Thursday nights. I just build ship maps. It's a slow, steady process, no big hurry. But yeah, take out those 4 mega maps. I mean, each one of those maps is going to take like 3 months. So it's a time-consuming process that I eat away at, like basically an hour and a half to 2 hour chunks at a time. So I got a lot coming down the pipe. So I always wondered, why is it that the divine casters get the healing spells, but arcane? And that's just flavor and a little bit of balance. Like if one character class can do everything, then why would you pick a different one? So they have to limit their scope and ability. And then how they limit that scope is just based on flavor. Priest versus wizard is a pretty classic split, just for D&D in general. Like there's there's magic of the gods, and then there's your own magic that you discover through formula and stuff. And then there's like warlocks have like pacts where they're borrowing power. Borrowing power is different from praying for it. Subtle. It's like a step between the two. Okay, so this map environment, I'm pretty happy with how the map is actually sitting. So I'm going to hit save real quick and then start collapsing these folders into the gazebo. Then we have the playmat space underneath it. And if we were to strip away the color, this is the core basic black and white map that'll be available, right? And then we add in all the color and details. Bam, that's how it is on Virtual Tabletop. But now we need to add puddles. So let's go to the puddle PSD. So let's see. 2, 3, 4. Number 2 is the one I'm interested in. One second. Gotta grab this and break it up. Where's my grid? Do like that. And then this. We need to hide our grit real quick. That. And we're going to be doing some highlighting for a bit here. Give me a second. I'll catch up with you as soon as I stop paying attention to this line. Like that. I'm going to get rid of here. Add that back in and get rid of that there. Yeah, that feels good. Now we're going to grab our grit, cut, paste. I'm going to call that number 2. Grit. And once we have this, once we have these laid out, broken up is the proper word I think I'm actually looking for there. Once we have this broken up, we'll be able to extract each of these separately. Let's conceal that grit layer there. Let's do it like this. Number 4. So this just became number 4. There we go. Blip, blip, blip. Oh, we already have number 3 taken care of, and we have number 1 taken care of. Nice. That was actually really easy to resolve. Cut, paste. 1, 4. There. So now I want to grab number 1, number 1. And from the color, nice. 1, and then we're going to go 2, 2, 2. Call that 1 and 2. And then we've got 3. Wait a second. Grit. What is going on with my grit? Got 1, got 2. Oop, there's some weirdness hanging out down here we need to fix. Delete. So that takes care of number 2. What's up? But arcane ones. I always wondered why. Yeah. Okay. What inspired you to make the mana system for D&D? I'm a huge MTG enthusiast. The color mana system. It's in I think everyone thought when they were creating Ravnica setting for D&D that we were going to get some color mana. You know, instead of being the 8 schools, I think everyone was kind of thinking, yeah, we're gonna see Wizards of the Coast, the people that created Magic the Gathering, convert the color mana system into D&D terms. So when you're playing Ravnica or Theros or Strixhaven, you can use the color magic paradigm with your color magic characters, but it didn't happen. So I was like, oh, that's a big letdown. How could we do that? So I got to work and figured out how to build a mana system, and then I had to figure out how to convert each of them into the proper colors, and it was certainly a learning process. But once I got the thing built, it works. It works really well, and then from there, I can build any kind of a magic paradigm that I want that can be used with that same mana system. It's just you just label what you want the different aspects of magic to be. You devote your mana to it accordingly. Create rules for why one spell is one sort of aspect of magic versus another, and then be consistent with it. And you win. Super simple. It's barely an inconvenience. Number 1, let's make sure number 1 is staying within its lines. Looks like that's sitting in the square. Good. There, now we got line art for number 3. Line art, so that's good. And then we got number 3. And we got color. And that should be able to blip. There we go. Got number 4. Number 4. Number 4. Number 4. Blip. 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 Second batch. First batch. First batch, second batch. What's this? Oh, the lines. Of course. Don't think I need those. I'm going to keep them around just in case. So let's just drop those underneath the background. Add all this up into trash. And oh, that's a stray line. Let's figure out your origin story. Oh yeah, gap. Mind the gap. Let's get this stuff out of the way. Bump bump, and then get number 4 hidden. And then the actual idea of like the martial powers itself was it's been expressed in Wizards of the Coast themselves, like third and fourth edition had martial powers as alternate resource and you know ability systems. It was I wanted to have um, a hold on. Cool. All right. I wanted to have a way of since like in Magic the Gathering, there's like decidedly mundane sort of warrior characters that aren't like magic themselves, but you can use mana to do different things with them in the card game. So I wanted to extract that card game idea and bring it into D&D and have it work not only with spellcasters but with every type of character in the game. So I had to create an alternate magic system that isn't spellcasting that would be available for martial characters to be able to also use the same sort of mana. So like I could have like a completely mundane fighter be like a Boros fighter and be able to use white and red mana to be able to do different fighter stuff. So the natural direction to go in there is, for me obviously because of my history in playing D&D, is to go back to a previous edition that had mechanics that reinforce that stuff, which was third edition, the Book of Nine Swords, or the battle magic system. And then fourth edition really leaned into it, literally calling them martial powers. So I just went off of those ideas, and then there we go. Everything is history. I felt like it would take at least 3 years of playing role-playing games before you get to a point where you truly become the kind of role-play player that can immerse themselves in the character they play. And not let the personality leak in there. I don't know. I'm not a thespian in that sort. I don't attempt to take on another personality. The school of gaming that I learned from was basically everyone is essentially playing themselves anyway. The character is just a user interface, but the decision making is what you would actually do. It's your power fantasy of being yourself in this fantasy world. That's the approach that me and most of my friends have always taken it, which isn't necessarily popular right now. But yeah, I don't have any real personal opinion about bump. I'm going to duplicate this layer and then merge it, and then we're going to duplicate this layer and merge it, and then we're going to take this layer, we're going to duplicate that and then merge it, and then we're going to duplicate this one and merge it. Going to ungroup, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, having done all of that, for the purpose of duplicate and then bring over to the Gazebo ruins, I'm going to hit save. Let's go to the Gazebo ruins. So now we have all of our puddles of water. So we can pull these down here, and now I can chuck the ones that I think like I think number 8 here should probably fit. No, number 6. That might be a bit too big for that space, but I could drop that in here, for instance. There, that fits pretty nicely. And then let's grab this one then. Let's grab number 3. Nope. Where we go? Let's call that one number 2. Call this one number 3. Yeah, maybe number 1 is the right one. No, that's too big. That's never gonna fit. Okay, let's give number 3 a chance. Free transform. No, wait. Free transform. Let's try. Can that work? And that space is way too big. That works. And then we can grab here. Bump, 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 bump. There, see? We just drop these things in. There you go. Settle onto the page. There's big decals that we just drop in. Now that we have those in place. 1, 2, 3, 4. Grab these. Puddles. Thump, 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 thump. What's up? Hey, Tyler, how you? Oh, holy shit, Tyler, what's going on, my guy? When you sneak in here, hey, gonna send you a PM on Discord. Keep up the great work. Love your. Hey, thanks a lot, man. How do you feel about the current culture of gaming where we try to play a different person than ourselves? I mean, it's been that way since Dragonlance, basically. Like, that's what really kicked off the idea of portraying a consistent character that's going through a story arc through the adventures, like the roller coaster or the railroad, the first of the story adventures, where the story is already written. Your characters are just playing through that story. It's already all written from front to end. You're just being inserted into that. Prior to Dragonlance, it was, here's an environment, here's a bunch of creatures in that environment, here's what they're doing in that environment, go fuck with it. So, like, they're going to do something regardless of whether you guys care or not. Alien spacecraft crashed in the mountains, and Orc tribe is going to go check it out. They're going to interact with whatever aliens are left, and whoever survives all that shit is going to start taking over that region. Insert your characters. Like, that's how D&D used to be before Dragonlance, and to a certain extent it always is. But you can see it, that there's a through line, an actual plot with a beginning and a conclusion, and a path that leads straight through it, even if there's like some jacqueline that happens throughout that. But for the most part, it's just a straight shot. So you're kind of like you're on this amusement park ride, and the character that you build is how you interact with the dips and the spins and the lurches and stuff along the way. And if your character survives long enough, you get to see it through the entire adventure with the same character. If your character dies, you create a new character and continue the ride without any changes. You're just changing the pitch and tone that your character screams as they fly down a hill. You know, it's not really a big difference. So the next thing I want to do is I want to save this. And I mean that has a strong appeal. There's obviously a market for doing that, but it's really far removed from the no story arc. Like there's a scenario with goals. There's a plot line. There's villains. There's a location. There's goals within that objective between the different factions, and it's up to you to decide how you want to deal with it. Like this adventure that we're creating for Eberron right now. It's just necromancers creating an undead necromancy zone and trying to profit from it. Undead are leaking out of it. They can't contain it, and the local villagers around that area are scared. That's it. But the necromancers inside of the adventure, they have their own timeline, which doesn't correspond with the beginning or the end of the adventure. And there's 6 different plot hooks with different objectives. So the storyline there completely changes based on what role your characters are playing inside the adventure. But the adventure itself doesn't care. We're just giving you 6 different angles that you can approach the environment from. With whatever's going on inside of there, here's goals you can extract from it. Decide what you want to do with it and make it your own, and use that as a launching pad for other follow-up adventures that can build off of that. Your character doesn't need a personality throughout any of that. You don't need a consistent character. You're just part of a team that's trying to explore a situation. So any personality that you decide to attach to any of those characters, that's purely your own choice. So we want some Ferric Ivy. We want some Lotharia. Let's just grab all these bits. So we're going to duplicate these layers, and we're going to import them into the Gazebo ruins as well. Here they are, nice and hanging out down yonder. I'm going to pick those up. We're going to label these as puddles. Let's call them sinkholes. Sinkholes. Get the gazebo. Flora hazards. Going to merge that and merge that, and then merge that and that and that. And the florets come in. We're going to merge the florets, and then we're going to emerald caps, part and full. Merge that group. Merge that group. Plague moss. Merge that group. Merge that group. There we go. Okay, so we have all those. We don't have to worry about this currently. No need for love, Dr. Jones. How do you feel about the... do you have any idea how the mass combat system will look like? Like any mechanics, or you haven't? Yeah, we've already play tested it for like 20 hours, and then we built and then all the fleet and squadron mechanics. The fleet and squadron mechanics in the Spelljammer book I've already published is the mass combat system extrapolated for ships. So we would be basically zooming in to the 5-foot scale with individual troops, and it basically works the same way as fleets and squadrons. They'll use action economy to command your troop no matter what their size is, but the larger the size of the group, there's the skill die that you roll instead of using your proficiency bonus. And if you roll high enough on your skill die while you're making your attack roll, the squad or the army is ready to make another attack immediately. If you roll poorly on your skill die, then the squad becomes disorganized, and you have to spend either another attack, a bonus action, or a reaction to organize them so they can make another attack. They become while your character is inside of the space occupied by your unit, the army or the squad, whatever that is. It's treated essentially as a horse or like a mounted creature that you're basically using your movement is the movement speed of whatever unit you're attached to, and then you can use your individual movement inside of that to rearrange your position inside of the squad. And then like if you have if you have a squad of 10 guys, they'd fit in a 16 by 16 space. If you have a squad of 8 guys, they could surround you with you in the middle or wherever you want to be positioned in that 9 by 9 grid. But like if you had like, we'll go on a quick tangent here because it's fun. So if we have a squad that's like this, here's 8 soldiers, and then here's your character in the middle. This is your combat unit. You're basically a size huge creature at this point that consists of 8 different NPC soldiers and you. And so the way that we're currently looking at it is this occupies a 3 by 3 space, so it would have a reload score of 3. So if I'm first level, I roll a d4. If I'm 5th level, I roll a d6. If I'm 9th level, I roll a d8. 13th level equals a d10. And 17th level equals a d12. So when I make my attack roll, it's d20 plus my ability score plus my command die, which is going to be one of these. So at this level, if I am a first level character and I'm rolling a d4 on my squad die and in a 3 by 3 space that my unit occupies, I have to roll a 3 or better on a d4, right? So that means that if I had a squad that's a 4 by 4 space, it's going to have a reload score of 4. Or if we go just to make it absurd, just go one further. If I have a 5 by 5 space here, that's going to be a reload score of 5. So it's impossible for a first level character to hit the reload score. So every time I have this squad of 24 soldiers plus me attack something, if I miss the reload score, I have to spend additional action economy before the squad can attack again. So at 5th level, at first level, I cannot hit the reload score number. So I'm always going to and at first level, I only have one attack. So I make my attack, and then if I want to attack again, I have to either use my reaction to ready another attack, or I have to use my bonus action to ready another attack. But I'm eating up my action economy pretty heavy at that point. At 5th level, I have a 5. If I roll a 5 or a 6 on my d6, then I could have this 5 by 5 squad be ready to make another attack. And at 5th level, as a fighter, I'd have 2 attacks. So like I attack, if I missed a reload score, I could use my bonus action to ready the team for another attack, and then use my other attack action to have the squad attack again. And essentially, it would be, it's going to be the size of the squad. Here's a 5 by 5, so it would be 5 dx, and x being the damage size that they use. If they're all using pikes, then it'd be a 5d10. If they're all using, long swords, it'd be 5d8. And, if it's a mixed squad, then whatever the rank of my commander is going to determine the die. So a 5th level character would roll 5d6. So whenever I hit with this, I'm basically doing I'm doing less than a fireball worth of damage every time I attack with this. But again, I have to be in an environment that can accommodate the 5 by 5 space for me to be able to attack as a 5 by 5 squad. So technically, it's the facing that determines the amount of damage, but it's the depth of the squad. If it was like this, it'd be a 6 by 6. only on this front. On this front, it'd be a it'd be a 5d6. If I was in a space like this, it'd only be 3d6. But so I can break up the attack into smaller chunks. Like here, it'd be a 2d6, and it's easy for me to reset that. But the rest of these dudes aren't doing anything while this 2d6 goes. So whatever size of force can effectively attack whatever you're facing. That's the amount of damage. That's the amount of damage dice that you do. So like for me to be able to do 10d6 damage, I need to have a front. I need to have the ability to attack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like I'd have to have 10 creatures wide to be able to do 10d, like say 10d8 damage. But then we zoom out to the 50-foot scale, where I've got a troop of 10 wide here, right, plus extra troops inside of here. So at the 50-foot scale, it's now, instead of being a 10d8, it's 1d8 times 10. That's the amount of damage a single 50-foot scale can do. But if I had two 50-foot units, so I had like 100 creatures, 20 creatures wide, this would be doing 2d8 times 10. And it just continues scaling like that. And then we have mechanics for time differential. Like once you get to the 50-foot scale, you can't affect, like characters can only move 6 squares per round. So if I'm 50 feet in size, I can't even move 1 square during my normal round of combat. So I have to start expanding the duration of time. When troops are adjacent to each other, they can attack in a 6-second frame of time. But if I'm going to move, I now have to expand the duration of the round to move, like say from here to here at the 50-foot scale. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 squares at the 50-foot scale. That's 10 times further than what a human can normally walk in 6 seconds. So I would need 1 minute to go from there to there. And then if there's enemies here, once I arrive at this destination, this line of scrimmage, this combat takes only 6 seconds. So inside of this minute of movement, if I end my round adjacent to an enemy, then I resolve that inside that 6-second block of time, zoomed in to being adjacent to each other. So while we're there adjacent to each other, when we're committing combat, we just attack. But as soon as I want to move away from there, that expands out the scope of time to be 1 minute of me moving. And they would only have the opportunity to attack me once inside of that minute. So a round of combat now becomes, while you're mobile with these larger scales, a round of combat now becomes 1 minute. Unless you're staying still and engage on the line of scrimmage. As soon as somebody moves, it spans out to a minute or 2 hours or 24 hours. It just 6-second scrimmage, 1 minute, 10 minutes. 1 minute, 10 minutes, 2 hours, 24 hours. That's your 5 scales. So 5-foot scale, 50-foot scale, 500-foot scale, 1 mile scale. And now you're dealing in miles, and you can only do so many miles per day as a troop that's walking around. So that's the gist of it. Pretty straightforward. Does the squad make 1 save if forced to make it? Yeah, it does. It would be you would use the commander's saving throw. And if it's an NPC squad, you just designate somebody as the commander, and then you just make a single die roll for that. The commander can take damage for the squad as like a force field sort of effect. So like if I have a commander with 60 hit points and your squad just got hit for say 20 points of damage, your character could choose to take all 20 points and your squad is untouched. Or I could take 10 points for my character and distribute 10 points to my squad. The rank of the squad from level 1 to 5 determines how many hit points each individual character inside of that. So if a dragon attacks my squad with a breath weapon attack, then I have to save against that area of effect that could affect all of my squad or hit my character twice. Once for my own saving throw, and then again for the squad saving throw, so I'm going to get double dipped on area of effect damage. Or if it's a single attack, like a claw attack, that does 30 points of damage, but I have first rank soldiers, they only have 10 hit points each. So when that claw attack hits, I could either, for every 10 points of damage that claw deals, I would remove one character. But since it's a single target attack, I can, instead of the squad taking damage or I take damage, I can just remove a character from the squad. But as soon as the squad reduces in size, it reduces the amount of damage that I can deal, and it reduces the amount of damage that the squad as a total can soak. If that breath weapon hits and it deals 60 points of damage, I as a commander will soak up as much of that damage for my squad as I want, and then the remaining points that are left, if I succeeded the saving throw for the squad, then that 60 points becomes 30 points, and I can now distribute those 30 points across the characters however I want. Since each one only has, at first rank 10, at 5th rank they'd have 50. They're not considered individual creatures. They're considered part of your squad. So you could break them away and have them act individually, but while in that squad, the 30 points of damage, I could like kill 3 of my pips, and then I don't take any damage and no one else in the squad takes any damage. Or if I've got like 10 guys in the squad, 30 points of damage, each one of them takes 3 points of damage. So that's reducing the cap of the characters. That's basically how it works. So we still have some wrinkles to iron out, but for the most part, the system's really solid like that. And then when it's 30 points of damage, and we don't necessarily tally each creature individually. It's for every 10 points of damage that you would take in AOE, you could choose to sacrifice one creature inside of there, so that you would have them remain. If the damage does less than 10 points of damage, you can't ever effectively kill a single creature, but you are damaging the squad as a whole. And once the squad loses 10 points, then you have to get rid of a character. So like if I have a 9x9 squad that has a total of 90 hit points, and every time it takes 10 hit points, I remove one character from the squad, and that reduces it down to 80 hit points. So it reduces the amount of damage that the squad as a whole can take for like AoE effects. And again, every 10 hit points, you just remove a single soldier, so you're whittling down the size of your force as you take more damage. And as your size of your troop falls, so does the amount of damage that you can deal with them. But they have a smaller footprint, so it's easier to coordinate them. So there's a sweet spot around what level am I, how many troops can I realistically control at one time with my actions. And as long as I'm inside of that unit attached to that squad, I can take as much damage for that squad as I want. Otherwise, I could command a squad from afar, but I can't take any damage for them. So whatever damage they take, they just lose. While I'm connected to them, I can protect them with my own hit points and my own saving throws. But if I'm not connected to them, I can't defend them like that. But I can still use my action economy to control them as a squad. It's like I could summon 16 wolves and have a 4x4 squad platoon of wolves that can go attack like a Merilith demon, right? A Merilith's like a CR16 or like a CR12 creature, while the wolves individually only want one CR each. But between all 16 of them, they have 160 hit points, so they're actually a really good fight against the Merilith. Although she's going to be cleaving through them really easily, they could still do 4D, like say 4d4 damage per round against her. They're going to get shredded, but it's not just an immediate one shot. They're all gone. So, yep. So anyway, that's the core mechanics of it in a brief overview. Let's get back on point. But yeah, the system works. We've used it in multiple scenarios at multiple sizes and multiple campaigns at this point. It's just a normal part of my D&D campaigns in general at this point. But we will expand on it. I'm going to put this here. Where are we at on time? 7:40. Oh shit, we're almost done. All right, so we're going to layer in a slew of these tokens. Going to free transform, flip horizontal. There we go. Now let's take this one and duplicate that. Let's go flip horizontal. Here like that, and then let's take this one for transform, bump, 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 like that, so those connect. Nice. Duplicate, bring that to here. Let's do it like that. Duplicate. Duplicate again. For transform, bump, bump, bump. Flip horizontal. These really do just chain together really nicely. I'm very, very pleased with how these tokens turned out. So if you walk into these into any space that occupies this bramble, you take D6 damage. So you don't want to do that. There, neat little bramble. Let's see. That's a bramble. Now let's Ivy. Let's see. Let's grab the Lotharia and bring that up here. Lotharia in like that. Duplicate that layer here. Free transform. Bum, bum, bum. I gotta go here in a matter of a few minutes. So I'm just dumping some tokens in here so you guys can see what this stuff looks like. Then duplicate. If I hadn't gone on that tangent, I could probably have actually finished tiling all this stuff, but you're getting the gist of this. What we're going to start on a new map tomorrow. We're going to work on the muddy the flagstone paths. I think is what we want to do. Duplicate here, free transform, bump, bump, bump. Then flip vertical there, and we can take this spot. We can duplicate spot, bump, 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 bump. Drop that in here. Take that like that. And then duplicate again. Here. Let's go with a partial duplicate here. No, that actually sits really nicely. No, I'm going to rotate that. Bump, 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 bump. There, now you have a fat patch Lotharia for people to have to dig through. Spot, duplicate, bump, bump, All right, that's my timer telling me I gotta start wrapping it up. So here we have a nice pad. Again, every time you step into one of these spaces, you have to make a Constitution saving throw. If you fail, you lose your action. You're sickened, so you lose your action for the round. But you can still move, so you can get out of the stuff, but you just wasted your actions. So it's like a light form of stun. It's a mobile stun. But that's a neat little patch. We got some ferric ivy down here. Let's grab some emerald tops. And bring those in. Around here feels pretty good. Duplicate. Duplicate. Flip horizontal and then lump into place. There we go. See, nice little stuff. It's just stuff. We'll probably put some more ferric. Like we'll strew some ferric probably over here, or maybe some more down here. But this is a water hazard. It has undead in it, and it's difficult terrain. This stuff causes damage when you move through it. This poisons you when you move through it. Difficult terrain with undead. Difficult terrain with undead. This is going to be your straightest shot here, so we're going to load this up with some more ferric. So let's lock that down. Push that to here. I'm going to duplicate this layer. Free transform. Flip horizontal, and then let's turn it sideways like this. And actually, let's flip that again. Free transform. Flip. There, a nice chunk of ferric there that you have to contend with. And then we can drop some Letharia down along the side here. Some mushrooms. Yeah. So that's essentially what we're doing. But the DM can throw down as much obstacle and junk as you want onto the map. I'm just going to spruce up a couple more corners. And so this is essentially done. So there you go. That's our environmental map. So we now have a gazebo map, and we have undead that can come out of it. It's not a particularly, it's an unnecessary, like you can have a random NPC running or panicking, or you can have like guards here that are trapped fighting undead coming out of the puddles. However you want to do it, but it's just a random, it's just a random location that you can have a battle in. So that's the intent of the thing. Florets, plague moss. Floral hazards, and that's our 20 by 20. So I can keep adding tokens to this if I want, but my day is essentially over. So is this the Tome of the Bone Knight? It's called Crystals of Mabar is the name of the adventure. So here's the book cover. Here's the cemetery. Here is the gatehouse. Here is the flooded ruins. There's a tunnel under the flooded ruins that takes you into the facility, and there's a secret passage under the cemetery that will take you to the underground facility, and there's an elevator shaft that'll take you into the underground facility. And once you're in the underground facility, that's where you find the chrysalis that is housing the artifact, the Eye of Mabar, that's generating the power. By connecting to Sifris, the moon that represents the plane of Mabar, you're pulling energy from Sifris to power the ritual. So, laser. and that's the sign. That's the like the holy symbol or the sigil for the plane of Mabar. So Mabar, Cypherus, Eye of Mabar, the forest that you're traveling through, the 3 topside locations that will lead you to the underground facility, the 6 different plot hooks that are presented in the story. Each one of these characters are representing a different plot hook. So if you had a party of 6, all of them could have a separate plot hook, which would cause a ton of infighting. You don't want to do that. Yep. And the Tome of the Bone Knight is just is the cemetery map, and the mini boss to get into the secret passage, you have to defeat the Bone Knight. For you to get through the gatehouse into the facility from top down, you have to negotiate or defeat the Red Wolf Mercenary Guild to get into the underground facility through the flooded ruins. You have to fight your way through a bunch of undead, and then defeat a puzzle. So this is a combat challenge. The cemetery is a combat challenge. The gatehouse is a social challenge, and the flooded ruins is an exploration challenge. Of course, you can do combat, exploration, and social for all 3 of them. You can't really do social with the monsters in the cemetery, but there's locations inside of the cemetery where you run across NPCs that if you help them, they'll give you the information that you need to avoid the undead, to sneak into the facility without necessarily having to fight anything. Or you can discover it yourself. So every single one of these paths that lead deeper into the adventure can be done through combat, exploration, or social engagement to lead you further in. And you can actually run through the entire adventure using only the social pillar, or only exploration, or only combat. So since you can do it with only one pillar, you have the freedom to switch and swap. Where do I want to have more combat? Where do I want to have more exploration? Where do I want to have more social? And you can switch up the type of encounters that you have throughout the adventure to pace with where your team's resources and the level of energy is at. So it's a very modular design on purpose like that. So you have multiple paths in, and whatever path you choose, you have multiple ways of walking that path. And even the plot, there's multiple paths that lead you into the adventure, and then on the exit we have suggestions about what you could do from there. So there's multiple points in, multiple ways to thread your way through the adventure, and then multiple ways back out again. It's designed to really lean into this threading idea of like weaving together the type of story that you want by providing you all the tools that you need to do it. So that's the adventure. That's how I like to design and create adventures. But when I'm actually a DM, ultimately there's only one choice that they make. There's only one path that they choose, and there's only one way that they really choose to deal with that particular challenge. And then you set up the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing to keep flowing through. But since this is a published adventure and I'm not actually walking through that adventure with you, I have to provide all the options for you to be able to build those threads and weave it together yourself. Because it's basically a build. It's a build. It's like a build an adventure toolkit that provides all the information sequentially, in order, for you to be able to build and run the adventure yourself. But then we have all the how do you spread out and interact with this stuff. So that's the idea. So that's it for now. I'm going to be back at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. I'm going to be playing some basic D&D with a slew of other YouTube creators, and then I'll be on probably at 8 o'clock, 7:30 or 8 o'clock. We'll do some more battle maps for Spelljammer, and then tomorrow we'll be back in the morning to do a new map. And at lunchtime, we'll continue working on the 2024 Martial Powers Monk rebuilds. So, yay! Right on, my guy. So I will catch you guys on the flip. Later, Gators.